Welcome to Chris Court Photography. A quick tip today on how I compose my shots in very low light using my mirrorless Panasonic S5. This method could be applied to Canon, Nikon or even the Sony users with those fancy autofocus sensors. So, say for example I was shooting the Milky Way, so I was out and about in the dark. What a lot of people do is they'll put their settings in like ISO 3200, the widest aperture possible like 2.8, or in this case with a kit lens 3.5. And I start shining the torch and really struggling to see their composition, so then I'll take a picture, move the tripod a little bit, take one again. Anyhow, a little hack for that is, say for example, like I just said, my usual settings are 3200 for the ISO, and the widest aperture available on this, which would be 3.5 at 20mm. I would obviously keep that as my saved manual settings, but then I would put the ISO on the highest setting possible, so 51,200, and then I would go to menu settings, go to the wrench icon, and then save to custom mode and save it to C1. Just save that, and then what you can do is when you're out and about, just quickly switch it to C1 to compose your shot. All you'll need is the slightest light from a head torch to be able to see the composition and frame your shot, and then as soon as you're happy, then switch it back to M. So rather than dial through your settings each time, like ramp the ISO up, move the tripod about, then take it back down, you can just literally switch it to C1. Okay, it's super noisy, but I can see what I'm doing. Okay, composition's good. Switch it back to M and away you go. So it does save a lot of time in the long run. I've showed this for the settings on the Panasonic S5, but whether you're using Canon, Nikon or Sony, you just really need to Google or YouTube how to save settings as a preset, and follow the same procedure really. Set it on the highest ISO, and yeah, save to custom 1 or custom 2, or on Nikon I think it might be called U1 or U2 from the top of my head. I'll need to check that, but you get the gist anyway. So yeah, hope that helps. Just a little note also, when you are setting the ISO to 51,000 or similar, if you set your exposure to about a second or less so that the screen regularly updates, you have your exposure set to say 20 seconds, then the screen refresh will be very slow and that won't really help. So yeah, ISO 51,000, exposure a second or less, and aperture as wide as you can, and then the slightest light from a torch and you'll be able to see what you're doing.